And we're back. Another brand new episode of Let's Not Do This podcast. Sitting alongside two of the three unwise men, you got the Big O, Leon Oliver. Sitting next to my right, the old man himself, Ryan Dickerson. How are you, sir?
Doing awesome, man. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing all right. I was sexually harassed a little while ago. We'll talk about that. I'm going to get a restraining order. We'll see how that goes. And the man that was harassed with me wants Scotti to hide, and I guess they were feeling pretty hot about him this evening. How are you, sir?
Yeah. Other than the unasked for little back scratch I had, doing pretty good. We got week 1 coming up. I got the Sunday NFL ticket on the YouTube TV with the multi-view. Excited for that.
Nice. Yeah, you people are fortunate with the YouTube and the multi-view there. I
cut the cord.
Yeah, I'm watching it on the laptop and the TV. It's very archaic. It's very 2014. My setup that I'm having over here.
I was gonna say, man, you always call me the old man. I feel like I'm technologically advanced now.
You got rabbit ears still over your voice. You got like the aluminum foil on there. You're like, there's a game on PBS right now.
You never know when the internet's gonna go.
Exactly.
All right, this is driving me nuts. I tried to go sans headphones. It's the radio in me. You guys can put the headphones off if you want to. But it's the radio in me. It feels very unsettling.
Well, I feel like if one of us are gonna have the headphones on, we should all have.
Yeah, it's very unsettling for me to not hear myself as an ex-radio person. It's a failed radio talent, I guess you could say. But yeah, we got an action-packed show lined up for you. A lot of fun things this evening. We're going to talk week 1 college football reactions. Obviously, big wins for Colorado and Duke. Then also we're going to do our week 2 previews, talk a little NFL getting underway on Thursday night with Kansas City and Detroit. And we got some fun, zany stories as always for you. So make sure to check us out. Subscribe on YouTube, give us 5 stars on Spotify and all that good stuff, and subscribe. And as Pat McAfee says, be a friend and tell a friend. So you can get that up and going. All right. So before this show started this evening, one thing that we did was we got to the studio, and our angel investor was not here, so we had to go off to a bar. Scotti and I did while we were waiting for you to grace us with your presence, Ryan, and we had a few beers. And I'm not going to name the local establishment that we went to, but I believe it was it might have been senior night or something there this evening. I'm not quite sure. Scotti, what would you say the median age was at this bar?
Median? In the 60s somewhere.
Yeah. We were easily the youngest people there by a good 20 years. Now, Ryan, a lot of these people you may have gone to high school with. Of course, it may have been pre-segregation before they integrated the school, so I'm not quite sure if you went to school with all these people.
Possibility, man. I wish I went with y'all to see some faces and see, if I recognize these
old friends.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's like Remember the Titans when Julius shows up in Bert Tier's neighborhood and that cop car pulls up and something. He's like, your taxi came with a siren. Yeah, that was Ryan when he was going over these people's houses back in the day.
Exactly.
But
that was me.
That might be racist.
Yeah, it was an old fest, and there was some acoustic music, I guess you could say, maybe going on in there. But there was a woman who, how old would you say this woman was that was to my left, Scotti?
To your left? 64?
Yeah, I would say maybe 64. Who was quite hammered. I'm not sure what mixed drink she was drinking. It was definitely it just looked cheap.
Well, they're on a fixed budget, so I mean.
That lady that scratched my.
Well, you're burying the lead. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. This woman proceeded to play footsie with me pretty much all night long. And then kind of like was touching my shoulder and like trying to apologize for playing footsie with me. It was quite unsettling. Now, in hindsight, if I wasn't a married guy, I may have, taken her up on her offer there and tried to get some of her Social Security money. Who knows? Going to sign over that 401k. You never know.
Hey, man.
But as engineer Scotti over here is trying to fix his headphones, I think we'll just have to do without them for you there, Scotti. A woman comes. We had a seat that we're hoping was going to go to you, so you could be with your class. And this woman shows up and proceeds to what? Would she scratch your back?
She scratched my back, and I'm looking around, and she was like, "Anybody sitting here?" I was like, "No." I should have said yes, but
You know,
she was well in her 70s, probably.
Yeah, and she was making eyes at old Scotty boy,
Yeah.
old Scotty Too Hottie over here.
Nice.
And I'm telling you, they probably thought that we were similar to like their pool guys or something like that. Maybe the lawn guy. I'm not sure, but yeah, these old cougars. I don't even know they were cougars at that point. What are they, like saber-toothed tigers? Maybe at that age.
I don't know the hierarchy of
Well,
older women nicknames.
those are prehistoric. At what age do you stop being a cougar?
I don't know. Do you stop?
Well, there's got to be something beyond cougar. Like
Like the generations, like like
well, what was a prehistoric cat that doesn't exist anymore? Ryan, you were there. Was it saber-toothed tiger?
that's the one that I saw a lot back then.
Yeah, when you were coming out of your cave with the club, you're
Oh
trying
no,
to,
that's a lot of words to say though.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. Whatever they were, they were some feisty meeks. I'll tell you that. The guy that she was with definitely looked like he was probably a roadie for REO Speedwagon at some point in his life. And everyone had like, maybe it was because Jimmy Buffett died, R.I.P. To the original pirate. But
That's what it could have been, man.
everyone had like Hawaiian shirts on, and I'm sure all these people had like pineapples on their mailboxes back home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what that means, just Google pineapples on your house or pineapples on your mailbox.
Yeah, they're probably really big into pickleball. I would
Oh,
imagine.
you
Yeah.
know it. There's a lot of orthopedic surgeons that are like making the rounds there probably right now, handing out business cards.
Do you think the crowd was all Jimmy Buffett mourners or my man Steve Harwell from
Definitely Jimmy Buffett.
Steve Harwell from
Yeah.
Smash Mouth passed away?
Oh, that was the guy's name for Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I think his name's Steve Harwell. Yeah.
Oh,
Did he
poor-
pass away, or is he? I
No,
thought
he
he was
did.
in hospital. Oh damn.
Oh, yeah, I saw the guy from Smash Mouth died, which I didn't know his name. Well, R.I.P. to Steve Harwell, too. He's an all-star in heaven now.
And maybe they were there mourning him too. It was a
Maybe.
rough weekend.
You never know. You never know. If you're a musician, it usually comes in threes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so...
See who's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we?
Ryan, what crooner from your day is still kicking? Sinatra's gone, so
I need to figure out how Keith Richards is still on this earth.
yeah, that's very true.
Should we do a poll? A death poll?
That's
Yeah.
poll of old singers.
Who's next?
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't know what was going on over at that place. I've never seen so many steamed up old people in my life. But
Don't say steamed up.
but they moderately warm old people.
That's worse. All right, never mind. Steamed
My
up.
wife.
Steamed up's fine.
Scotty, you could have had been a sugar baby.
I'm good. I don't need sugar that bad.
That takes give grandma some sugar to a whole new level.
Probably saw fresh blood in the water. They probably like text each other, say
That's-
fresh blood.
That's probably what it was. I feel like we were getting eyes on us.
Yeah.
It seemed like most people there knew each other.
Yeah, at first I thought, because, I was like one of like 3 black people in there. No, I think it was just because of old Scotty boy. He got a fresh new haircut, and
Yeah.
he was the bait. He was
maybe.
the bait.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah. Now I will say that my old lady was definitely the better looking of the two. So who knows? Maybe she wanted to check that black card off finally. I don't know. It was probably illegal in her day.
Well,
But yeah, if you're into older ladies, JJ's on what is that, Staples Mill?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
that's your spot.
As Ryan would say,
Sponsor us.
as Ryan would say, it's dynamite. So,
hey man.
Does he say that?
well, he was around when that show was
Oh,
on.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Good Times is a classic, man.
Look at
Love
that.
that show.
What was the lyric? Was it hanging in a child line? Is that the lyric?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Hanging in a child line.
Scotty,
Good time.
Good Times is a show that was popular in the African American community in the 70s.
I know of the show. I've watched a couple episodes. That might be racist. I can't hear the drops.
I was, you can just assume it was.
Yeah.
That might be racist.
I gotta learn the colors over there.
Yeah,
That might be racist.
Yeah, that one kind of wrote itself.
yeah. We were black splaining a TV show to you. So there we go. All right. Well, let's dive into it. So week 1 college football in the books. Kind of a lackluster week 1 nationally. Not a lot of great games. A lot of people playing cupcakes early on. But obviously the game that like everyone and their mom was paying attention to was the big noon kickoff game on Saturday, high noon in Fort Worth, Texas, between Colorado and TCU. Buffaloes come out of there with the win, knocking off the runners-up from last year, in the national championship game, the Horned Frogs of TCU. Deion Sanders in his debut. Did you guys watch this game?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was Shedeur Sanders, we knew he was good. We knew Travis Hunter was good. I don't think even we knew how good they were. Shedeur was amazing. What, he threw for like 510 yards?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a school record. And this is a school that once had Cordell Stewart and, Steven Montez played there, Cepha Lufau. They've had some good quarterbacks in their history of Colorado. First game, you show up and throw for 510 yards.
Yeah, receivers, or four receivers. First time in school history, 4 receivers at 100-plus yards.
Yeah.
I believe it, yeah. Everybody was open.
No big deal. Dylan Edwards running all over the place. And then Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball was the best player on the field, arguably. Maybe Shedeur at quarterback, you could say offensively was the best player, but Travis Hunter is just a freak. That was, as Deion said, going into halftime, if he had 2 drops in the first half. One was a touchdown he was trying to lay out for. One he was trying to stick his feet and kind of go out of bounds to make the catch. Very difficult catches, and he had those 2 drops. He goes, hey, he didn't drop those 2 balls. The Heisman's chilling in his crib. I don't think we've ever felt that someone could have won the Heisman after week 1, but he catches those 2 balls. He might have won the Heisman after week 1.
Well, the fact that this man played 119 snaps should put him in Heisman consideration on probably a 95 to 96 degree day in Fort Worth, Texas. Like that right there, and that he played so well, so consistently, should put him in like the Heisman talk. I just think I don't know if it's overlooked, but I just think that's the biggest feat of the day. Like this man played 100. That's high school ball type of numbers when you're just always, he's probably high school, could take plays off and still make plays, playing against top-notch competition, probably the best team he's ever played against in his career. Jackson State didn't play teams TCU's caliber, and he's, doing that. NFL scouts must be drooling right now over him.
Yeah, he's definitely the week 1 Heisman for sure. I am a little worried if they're going to keep playing him that much, if he can hold up over a whole season. But, we need that plane lady drop for him because he is not real. He is not a real person.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but Colorado, I thought it would take them a few weeks to get going. Just all the turnover. No. That offense is surreal. Like Coach Prime said, we're not coming anymore. We are here. That their defense needs a lot of work. But, that offense is as good as I saw this week. They got receivers everywhere. They got speed. Shedeur Sanders is already, they're calling him a first-round pick now. Travis Hunter is just unreal. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch all year. So poor Lee Corso. I know he's not happy.
Oh, no, he was not. You could tell, in the pregame and stuff, too, when they're doing the picks, you could tell, he was.
Just kept bringing it up.
He's just not a Deion guy.
No.
Yeah.
And they both went to Florida State, so it's like Sunshine Schooner.
Something, I don't know.
Is there some beef between them, from Florida State days?
Maybe,
not Florida State days, but just some Florida State something going on.
Maybe it's get off my lawn or something. Maybe he's, he's.
Obviously Deion stole Travis Hunter from Florida State, and then he went to Jackson State with him. Obviously Deion a little bitter. You can tell about the not getting a job that went to Mike Norvell. We'll get to him later, and that's probably the second biggest winner of the week was Florida State. But then he, kind of had that whole thing this week where he's saying, hey, I'm not a Florida State guy. I'm an HBCU grad because, he did get his degree from Talladega College. But come on, bro.
Right.
What was it? Willie Mays was stumbling around the Mets outfield. No, Willie Mays was a giant. That's what he was. Deion, you're a Florida State Seminole.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm worried about that defense though because Chandler Morris did not play well at all, and they still put up 42. So I guess they're just going to be like a USC, just like every game is going to be a shootout probably.
That whole league this year, which is a shame because it's breaking up. They're going to be the Pac-2 next year with Oregon State and Washington State.
And they were the only league that was undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're the only league that's undefeated, and they got all the quarterback depth. Even guys like Cam Rising, who was injured, and Cam Ward, Shedeur, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. They got all the DJ, they got all the quarterbacks.
DJU.
Just call him DJU.
Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. But, one thing I will say, the only thing I will say, and I see a little bit of this, and maybe some of the great ones do this, but a little bit of the, remember the Last Dance? Remember Michael Jordan? He would, manufacture stuff?
Yeah.
To, get him to that point. I think the great ones have this in them, and I think Deion has that too, where it's like, yeah, people didn't expect you to do well because you're a first-year coach at this level. B, like you brought in all these transfers. This hasn't ever been done before, and I think people naturally had some hesitation to, like, to borrow term, if you're gonna crown their ass. Like, I think some people had some hesitation for that, but he's getting off on it. He's got receipts, and you can tell it's like this us against the world mentality, and it's trickled down to their players. I mean, listen to his son Shador in the post game.
I mean, I knew we was gonna do this. The scoreboard just telling y'all that that's what's going on, but y'all ain't believe. Nobody believed that we was gonna do this, so. We was fighting two battles, I'll say, for the team. I get off social media personally and let my brother, Deion Jr., the Well-Off Media account, let him run it in my YouTube. I let him run that stuff. But I'm locked in. I'm focused. I'm not listening to what everybody's saying.
So, yeah, they're trying to shut out the noise and stuff like that, which is coach speak. Everyone always says that. But at the same time, like, Colorado brings their own noise. Like, they talk a lot, but they went out there and they backed it up. And that was about as impressive of a debut as it went about as well for them as it could have gone.
Yeah, Deion's smart using that because, I mean, on social media, like everybody, especially college kids, are on social media these days. So you can find, like, fuel anywhere. I mean, it's all over the place on social media. So to kind of dig into that and use it as fuel, I mean, that's very smart.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then, so we'll see what happens with them. We got our picks coming up later on. Colorado may or may not show up there. They got Nebraska coming into town this week. Big noon kickoff on Fox. But another big winner this week was Florida State. I think they might still be scoring on LSU right now. And it didn't work out well for one. Oh my God, his name just went out of my head. Brian
Kelly.
Brian Kelly. Yeah, thank you. See, they beat him so bad, I forgot his last name. He didn't do that Hillary Clinton fake Southern accent. I don't think too much after this game was over either. I mean, he goes on this coach's show this week and says they were going to beat the heck out of Florida State. Yeah, you probably don't want to give that team any more ammunition than what they already had, and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, he talked all that shit, and then he ran 100 read options at the 1 yard line. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, it was.
If you couldn't tell, I had LSU in that game. So
is Brian Kelly doing the gritty either, or is he not doing that anymore either?
Yeah, I don't think he's doing any of that.
Didn't he go back to back with some recruit on like a video? They were like ass to ass and like dancing around and like spinning around. Didn't that recruit go somewhere else? Didn't he go to Bama or something?
I fucking would have.
I didn't see that.
I don't know what this coach is doing, but I feel harassed. I'm leaving.
maybe
he definitely got
JJ's.
He got out coached for sure. Oh. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing. He just kept calling them read options on the goal line. It's giving the middle of that defensive line for Florida State time to just get in the backfield.
Yeah. I mean,
they blew their chance in the first half. They should have been up 13 points going into halftime. Jordan Travis made some bad decisions, and they weren't playing great. They go into halftime only down 3. Damn, we play like shit. We're down 3. They come out second half and just, kick their ass. And
yeah, Florida State goes on a run. I mean, they won 45-24. They had shut them out in the second half until 1:15 left when they got a 75-yard touchdown pass in garbage time. But I mean, it was like basketball. It was like kind of like Virginia basketball almost. When Virginia has that avalanche that they talk about, they turn that offense into defense and defense into offense. Excuse me, and they just like blow you. You're in the game, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're down 15. And like, how did it happen?
Right.
It was just Florida State hit them with a series of punches, and LSU had no answer. In fact, I think LSU quit. The body language, there was no swagger. There was no LSU. We're SEC. We're from Louisiana. The boot. None of that stuff was there. Florida State looked like. And here's the thing: Florida State left some points out there. Those guys are going to get better, and that's the scary thing about it. Is like, this is week 1. They're going to get more dialed in. That swagger was back. It meant something. You can tell those guys that have a Seminole uniform on. And the transfer portal worked out tremendous. Everyone talks about Deion in the portal, but Mike Norvell. You got Jeremiah Bell, South Carolina. He was their best player. He's a Seminole. Finchell Cypress from Virginia was their best player. He's a Seminole. Keon Coleman, Michigan State. That was their best player. He's a Seminole. Like, look at all these guys. They had like 5 transfers. They were just making plays all over the field. That's the new age of football. And guys like Deion, guys like Mike Norvell, they get it. And I mean, Florida State's scary.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely strong. I mean, pretty much every facet of the game. You know, their defense is strong. Defensive line. They have that Verse kid that transferred from. They found him in, I want to say Albany or somewhere, University of Albany. He transferred in from. So
Great Danes.
Yeah, you can find good players anywhere, and of course the defensive backfield is loaded. You know, Travis is about a season the quarterback you're going to have in the ACC. I mean, they're loaded. I ran my mouth last week saying that, you know, or maybe even a couple of weeks ago saying Clemson will beat Florida State in Death Valley. Now I'm not so sure. I really am not. But yeah, I mean, like definitely the Colorado and the Colorado game was definitely a surprise to me. It's just a lot of surprises, man. I mean, I had the under on the Colorado game. You know, I don't know if we're going to talk about our picks later, but like first week is so crazy. I mean, there's definitely some proof in the pudding, but you know, you never know. You know, next week Colorado could lay an egg. They're too big headed. Who knows? You know, but like you're saying, I think Colorado will be very strong going into next week. Not giving away picks or anything, but I think they'll stay focused because Deion's going to like again just feed into that ego and that everybody's disrespecting y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go and clobber somebody else or beat somebody else.
The lines opened in that game at Nebraska -2.5, and it flipped like almost immediately to like I think last time I looked, I think there were -3.5 Colorado.
No, it actually started way higher than that. According to my the Vegas Insider,
or maybe it was when I looked at it first.
Yeah, they said it opened up at 5.5.
Okay.
I'm getting it at 2.5 right now. So definitely
2.5 for
Colorado. Colorado was favored by 5.5. Now they're only favored by 2.5.
When I first saw it, Nebraska was favored by 2.5.
Oh, really?
When it first came out, yeah. And then I guess everybody ran and
flipping,
on Colorado, yeah.
I mean, and I don't know in good conscience how you can favor Nebraska in this game. I know early on, Nebraska fans bought a lot of tickets. Big Red always travels well, especially to Boulder. That's an old historic rivalry going back in the day. But Colorado's juiced. I mean, and especially the way that Nebraska lost that game to Minnesota. I mean, Matt Rule is going to Matt Rule, you know, and he looked like the Matt Rule that coached the Carolina Panthers. And I think he had better talent than a lot of people at Baylor, and I think that went a long way. But I'm not super impressed with him. You look at his track record. Yeah, he beat up on nobody at Temple. He won the games he was supposed to win at Baylor. You know, but he lost a lot of big games. He didn't do anything in the NFL with the Panthers. And I think he'll start to turn the ship around in Nebraska, but he ain't Tom Osborne. You know, like he ain't Frank Solich. I don't think. But, I mean, hey, it's only one game, but still. I don't think it's going to be good for them going into Boulder this week. But, yeah, I guess that public money is starting to come in now on Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Like a 90% or something, maybe 95.
I know the public yesterday was all in on Clemson. And this ain't your older brother's Tigers right now. Something's broken in Clemson, South Carolina. And, you know, I don't know if Dabo knows. You know, John Mayer's got a song called Something's Missing. There's a lyric where it says something's missing, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is at all. I think Dabo knows what it is, and I think he's too damn stubborn to change it. Talent is what's missing in Clemson right now. You look at, especially with the wide receivers, this was a program that gave us, you know, Hopkins, you know.
T.
Higgins, yeah. Renfro. Like, they had talent there. You look at the quarterback, you know, Deshaun Watson, even Kelly Bryant, and, of course, Trevor Lawrence, you know. I think Klubnik is developing. He's still young. He's learning on the job, so to speak. But this would have been the perfect opportunity for them to go out and try to get a elite transfer, and they didn't do it because we know that Dabo doesn't believe in the portal. He does things the old school way. Then you go out and you get Riley, the offensive coordinator, and I don't know if you guys caught it in the pregame, but he was talking about, he's learning the Clemson offense. So what the fuck did you bring him in for?
Right.
Like that's like hiring a top-notch chef and saying, you're going to cook these recipes.
Right.
No. You bring this guy in because he knows offense. You see what he did at TCU? Like, that's why you bring him in there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Clemson salvageable?
I'm not ready to write him off yet. I didn't watch the first half of that game. I turned it on maybe midway through the third quarter. And, you know, they get down to the 1 yard line, they fumble. Next possession, they get down to the 7, they fumble. So you have to think they're not going to do that every week. Yeah. You know, if they punch those 2 scores in, you know, they probably win that game. And we're not really talking about this as much. Definitely didn't look good. if you get down there and keep turning the ball over, like you got to fix something. But yeah, I mean, definitely not the Clemson of old. They're not winning any national titles this year. But as far as the ACC goes, I wouldn't write them off quite yet.
Right?
Yep. I picked Clemson to win the ACC, but I mean, even though they lost to my sleeper team, Duke. But anyway, I wouldn't write them off. I just think somebody has got to get in Dabo's head, or Dabo's got to have a come to Jesus meeting over the next week and a half. They play Charleston Southern on Saturday. So
Mighty Buccaneers, baby.
I mean, home of what was NC State's?
Oh Lord, I forgot.
That's where he came from.
Yeah, the quarterback last year.
Yeah, Edwards. I think. I don't know if his last name was Edwards, but anyway, the guy was terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, they really need to, whatever they got to, fix. They need to fix it in the next basically couple of weeks, especially against a team like Charleston Southern. I don't think they're like done for the year, but they just, I think maybe like Scotty was saying, and y'all guys were saying, that maybe Dabo has got to let Garrett Riley cook, like basically Lincoln Riley's brother. Just let him do his thing like he did at TCU versus holding him back, running Clemson's system that didn't work. Now it's looking like the reason why DJU left wasn't because he couldn't play. It's because you couldn't coach.
He tore it up. He tore it up last week.
He looked great. So it's just like I think Dabo's got to like look inside of himself and be like, look, man, I got to let these coaches coach and not me telling them how to coach or what.
Yeah, I didn't hear the comment of when he said he's got to learn Clemson's offense, but like you said, like you brought him in, his offense is Clemson's offense. Like he's your offensive coordinator. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Jack Chambers was a quarterback that transferred into State last year. Yeah, I tried to forget that name for a while. But no, like Clemson, I mean, look, you look at some of the underlying stats. They had over 200 yards rushing. I mean, Will Shipley is a good back. Defensively, they didn't play terrible, but just they don't have that aura of big bad Clemson like anymore. I mean, I remember the game that NC State lost to them a few years ago when Ryan Finley was playing quarterback, and Clemson used to win games kind of getting off the bus. You look at them and, oh, my God. I remember Finley missed some throws early in that game, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And NC State was playing scared. And I think a little bit last year when they, played Clemson, I think they were playing a little bit scared at times. Clemson doesn't have that. That mystique is gone. And it's kind of like when Florida State started to go downhill in the last few years of Bobby Bowden, they started to lose that mystique of what it was to beat Florida State. You're not scared of that big bad bully anymore. We see it in the NFL with the Patriots now. People aren't scared like anymore. And I don't know what it is, but Clemson has to retool. They got to get that swagger back. They got one ACC loss, and their next ACC game is Florida State. Huh. So,
right.
You may have two losses now, coming out of the league early, and that puts you effectively out of the league race probably.
Yeah, that's their season pretty much.
Early on, So, but they got a couple weeks to get it straight. But I don't want to make it all about Clemson. I mean, we got to tip our cap to Mike Elko. Ryan, I mean, you said, you're going to be the surprise team. That's a team that won 8 games last year. I think a lot of people thought Duke was going to take a step back. And, I mean, they had some key transfers come in that were making plays for them. Mike Elko is a great coach, and that defense is –
right.
They hit, and they are flying around. That's not your daddy's Duke team.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying that guy can coach defense. I mean, he did well I believe he was at Notre Dame. Was he not?
He was at A&M before he came to Duke as defense coordinator.
Okay. He was at A&M.
He was at Notre Dame at 1.2, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe so. But, I mean, that guy can coach defense, or whoever is the defensive coordinator can coach defense. So that travels. That you can stay in games with teams that are, on paper better than you. Odds they're better than you. By the bookies, by the sharps, by Vegas. So I mean, definitely, this team will be a problem for teams throughout the year. I know they got to go to Florida State this year, which will be a tough one for them. And I forgot what other game that's a tough one, but they have to go on the road. But I know the Florida State game will be probably huge if Duke can keep this, if not undefeated, have one loss going into. I believe that game's in maybe late October, early November. But I just think they're going to be a thorn in people's sides, if not be maybe a top 3 team in the ACC. I mean, the way they're trending right now. Riley Leonard is a playmaker. They don't have a lot on offense, but he tends just to make enough plays to keep drives going and and get points on the board, and they're very opportunistic on special teams, on defense. They, at least they were against Clemson anyway. So I mean, they're going to be tough, man. I mean, I think Clemson may have been sleeping a little bit in this game too. Like, oh, it's Duke. They may have gotten lucky last year. I think there are a lot of things that played into this Clemson loss, but definitely Duke, like you said, held their own. They were a big part of why they lost.
So tiebreakers are they all the same in every college conference? Is it like head-to-head? So let's say Clemson and Duke both have 2 losses at the end of the year.
I would assume the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker. I would assume, yeah.
So if Clemson goes ahead and loses to Florida State, I mean, Duke could be in the ACC championship game.
Yeah. Well, they'll have to deal with the Wolfpack who come into Durham, bringing a lot of red into Durham. So we'll
they already got one game they were supposed to lose, under their belt.
Yeah. So they're playing with a little house money right now. And one guy who was playing with the house money, Riley Leonard, by the way, he was a better quarterback yesterday. He threw for 175, had 98 on the ground, and a touchdown run as well. That 44-yard touchdown run, was kind of really spurned Duke and put them up there. He looked like a guy that he should have been on the other sideline. He looked like he would have fit better over there. You're not used to seeing people have more, especially a program like Duke, have a more talented player at a key position like that. Right. He looked like he should have been wearing orange yesterday. But he said in the post game that he was trying to get an extension on his homework because, unlike at Carolina, they actually go to class at Duke. Here's Riley Leonard. This is courtesy of Front Office Sports talking about getting in a homework extension.
Professor Taylor, if you're seeing this, please let me turn in my homework late because it's due tonight, I think at 12, so it may already be 12.
Yeah, so apparently we have a response to this now. So Professor Taylor, who apparently is Donald Taylor, professor there, apparently he's majoring in public policy, I guess, at Duke. Donald Taylor pointed out, quote, Wesley Williams and the other linemen planned ahead and did the assignment ahead of time and stuck to the deadline. So why didn't the quarterback prepare ahead, Taylor said. Sorry, so no way, man, no extension.
Damn. I see where he's going, the professor, but damn.
It's a basketball school.
Well, you think how much work you think Kyrie did for his cup of coffee that he had there? Well, he might have been.
That's what I'm saying. If he was a basketball player, it'd probably be different.
Yeah,
yeah.
Krzyzewski would have walked into the professor's office and been like, "Hey, you want some tickets to the game?"
Right.
I mean, this is Duke's first win over a top 10 team since '89. Yeah. That was the year that they tied Virginia, I believe it was, for the ACC title. That was Spurrier's last year. Yep. That was the air ball Blue Devils, when they were chucking it around. Mm-hmm. Also, this according to Opta Stats, Duke football is the only unranked FBS team in the last 40 years to open the season with a 20-point win over an AP top 10 opponent. I mean, that's a hell of a stat there. And it was crazy. I got the final radio call here of Learfield, courtesy of Learfield.
Leonard takes a knee. It's over. Both arms in the air for the head coach, and why not a statement for Mike Elko as the students pour onto the field. 28-7, the final score. Duke thumps the Tigers. And they start the season with a resounding win over the number 9 team in the country.
Pretty loud scene, and that stadium was pretty full, and it wasn't all orange. And I get it. I think a lot of those people were freshmen because I was looking at it. I was like, why are they all wearing Duke 27 football jerseys? Who the hell is 27? Then it dawned on me, class of 2027. I think Duke gave all their freshmen, I think at orientation or whatever, football jerseys with the number 27 on them. So there was a lot of freshmen out there. By the way, it's a hell of a way to start your Duke career off. First football game you go to, you knock off top 10 Clemson. By the way, did you see the one kid, the Duke student that ran up to Dabo, tried to shake his hand?
Those kids, those 18-year-old kids are Got a little liquor in them, got a little beer in them. They willing to do anything.
Dabo looked like somebody pissed in his cornflakes, like when that was over with, which no coach is happy after a loss. But you could tell the bewilderment on his face, like, I need a state trooper to get me off the field here, a Duke.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, where's the North Carolina State Trooper or South Carolina State Trooper?
Yeah.
It seems like all coaches have that guy that's kind of just, just chilling by him.
Well, I guess Duke football is not really used to that kind of thing.
It was a very orderly field rush too, and like normally you don't rush the field when you beat a team the way Duke beat Clemson yesterday. It wasn't like this. It was a last-second field goal or something like that. I mean, this was a thorough butt whooping, so they had plenty of time to line up. It was more orderly. It was almost as orderly as when Vanderbilt beat Florida last year, and you saw the students like single file coming down the steps onto the field. They were lined up. It was a very orderly field storming. I'll give them that.
I don't know. I did see some kids with like no shirts on. Like you could tell they were trying to pounce, and security was kind of holding them back a little bit. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, you're right.
Ryan, you mentioned the state troopers. Going back to the Colorado game, when Deion's coming off the field, one thing I did notice is normally the coach has like a trooper from their state.
Right.
Deion didn't have any Colorado state troopers. He had Texas Rangers, and I did notice that they were all brothers. He had all black Texas Rangers, but they were protecting Deion. I was like, okay, Deion.
I'm sure Deion calls all states that he's going to travel to and say, hey man, I'm going to be there on October 15th. I need a state trooper who wants to help me out, and I'm sure that's a line of guys. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
That was the first black Texas state trooper I've seen since what was that guy? Trevette, Walker, Texas Ranger. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that might be racist.
How many black Texas state troopers are there? I don't know.
Never done that research.
Yeah, he found the only three.
Yeah, he got it lined up.
Plus, he had two rather big dudes who I don't think were coaches. They were on the Colorado sideline, and they looked like the kind of guy they would throw you out of a bar on Pearl Street in Boulder at 2 a.m. Like you didn't want to fuck with those guys. So yeah, you don't want to get anywhere near Coach Prime. So if someone does end up, doing a field storming against Colorado this year, just stay away from Coach Prime.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Prime understands. I mean, he uses his fame and influence to get what he needs, whether it's players, state troopers, whatever.
Yeah, you can listen to all the sound bites, but I mean, he's impressed me. Like he's so calculated. I mean, like the way that it's played. I mean, so quick in the first game. I mean, sky's the limit for him and Colorado.
So we'll get into our picks here. We'll go back and look at what we did last week and then give our picks for this week. Real quick hitters on our teams. Scotty, I'll start with you. Virginia Tech beats ODU under the lights at home, Lane Stadium. I'll give the Monarchs credit. They hung around for about 3 quarters. On that one. And once again, going to the transfers, Brent Pry has done a good job working the transfer portal for Virginia Tech. Ali Jennings had a touchdown catch, I believe, in that game, who was at ODU last year. Virginia Tech really, pushed themselves away later on in the second half, took control of the game. But all in all, I thought that was a solid win for the Hokies. And you can see signs of improvement with that program.
Yeah, I think they knew they couldn't take that game lightly anymore, Like I was saying last week, they're not at that level where they can overlook anybody anymore. They didn't want to get embarrassed. They came out and pulled away at the end and looked good and covered the spread. And I'm totally prepared for a letdown this week.
Purdue coming to town.
I was kind of shocked to see that Virginia Tech's favored by 3 points, or when I looked earlier today. I mean, I guess Purdue didn't play well last week either, but I think Virginia Tech will win. But I wouldn't be shocked if they come out and lay a dud either.
I have not paid much attention to Purdue at all, like especially over the last 2-3 years. I think the last time I paid attention to them, Rondell Moore, I think, was still there. So I got no idea what to expect in that game. But Ryan, you're an NC State fan. I'm an NC State fan. Thursday night, they went up to UConn and it wasn't pretty.
No.
But they got the job done. NC State getting the win on the road, 24-14. This went about the way you and I both said, 10, 13 point. I think you said 10 to 13. I said 12 or something, somewhere around there. It wasn't pretty, but in the night, we got out of the stores with a W.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was a very to me, it was a very bland offensive calling. Like, even for Anai's standards, I just think that was very bland. Usually he's more throw the ball up and down the field, play, short pass game. He was very, I guess, very just bland with the play calling. I don't know if it's because we play Notre Dame next week or, on Saturday, and that he doesn't want to give up too much of his game plans. I'm sure Notre Dame has seen him a few times anyway. I mean, he's been in the ACC for at least the last 3 years, with UVA, and then OC at offense coordinator at Syracuse. So maybe he's just trying to keep his game plan bland and then break out all kind of stuff, next week for the game. But yeah, I mean, they did what they needed to do. Armstrong didn't look spectacular, but he did what he does. He'll get his 50 to 100 yards rushing. His throwing numbers weren't that great, but he was efficient. The defense looked pretty good. They gave up big play like NC State normally does, but after we take a commanding lead, we kind of let them back in the game. That's NC State protocol right there. But other than that, I mean, they look solid. Again, Notre Dame could be a tough one next week, to be honest with you. I don't know if I think the game, honestly, that Notre Dame's going to beat us by 7 to 10 points. But I hope I'm wrong, which I normally am on my picks. But but yeah, I mean, well, in the past this year, I'm kind of hitting more than I probably normally would. But anyway, I just think that Notre Dame may have a little too much for, especially on the ground. Their ground game is impressive. So we'll see.
Brendan Armstrong, you're right, did miss on some throws, and I think he had a little bit of the happy feet as well. And I don't know how much of that was maybe some PTSD from the Virginia days, especially last year when that line was just a sieve or whatever you want to call it, Swiss cheese. Let's just say that.
Sieve.
He was, he didn't really go through the progressions a lot, and I think some of that was old problems from last year with the NC State receivers not being able to get separation and get open, and him having to just first instinct, I'm going to run. And I mean, yeah, he's bigger. He's not like MJ Morris running around, like right. Brendan Armstrong was looking for contact at times too. He was dropping his shoulder. I'm going to run you over, a little bit, but that's not sustainable. We kind of talked about that with Josh Allen with the Bills. You don't want your quarterback he almost had 100 yards rushing. You don't want your quarterback to have to do that and take that kind of punishment each week. He's going to have to make throws. But I think they did go in with a little bit of a watered down game plan, trying to hold something back from the Irish. So we'll see there. And then lastly, Virginia. I mean, it went about as well as we expected it would go for Virginia. I will say they hung in this game longer than I thought they would. And early, Tennessee was just playing with their food. They had some self-inflicted turnovers and some stuff in the first half. Virginia showed some fight, but at one point, I want to say in the third quarter, Virginia had like minus 14 rushing yards or something like that. I mean, They just could not establish run. You could see the difference in talent between those two programs. Mm-hmm. And now apparently Tony Muskett is day-to-day with a shoulder injury for Virginia. His status is up in the air for Saturday when they play JMU, and they're going to be a lot of purple in those stands Saturday. So things could go from bad to worse. And then I'm not even going to try to pronounce that defensive tackle's name for Virginia, who tore his ACL. Was it the ACL?
No, he tore both of his patella tendons in his, both of his knees. Jeez. Celebrating. I'm like, that's about as freak of injury as you'll ever see.
He recovered a fumble, ran over to the sideline. When he jumped, and then he didn't stick the landing. I guess he pulled a Kerry Strug.
Both his tires blew out, basically.
What quarter was this in?
It was first half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he jumped over something and didn't stick the landing. He went down. He tried to get up. And he went down again. And when he went down the second time, he fell over a chair, like a folding chair, which folding chairs, by the way, have made a big push in media everywhere. He goes down over a folding chair. He took out that poor woman in Bama.
That family's probably feeling some vindication, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he goes down over a folding chair. He come back from break and we have a Virginia player down. No one really noticed it. I mean, we saw him fall down on the broadcast. We thought, okay, he just slipped. Something, he fell. You come back and it's medical personnel surrounding, oh my God, did someone collapse? Has something medically happened? No, this guy's season's over now because he was celebrating.
I'm sure Tony Elliott, his first I guess, point this week, in practices, it's like, do not celebrate. Please don't jump up and down off the field. Like, literally, like.
Stay on your feet if you're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, like.
Kendry Morales, we're looking at you.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Bill
like,
Gramatica.
Yeah.
That's the funniest one.
Yeah.
That's the kicker, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It just that last year,
Snake bitten.
Obviously horrific tragedy, but even before that, it's just what could go wrong did go wrong last year, and now you lose one of your better defensive players this way. It just seems like this program just has a dark cloud over it. Like you just can't get out of your own way, But we'll see. They got JMU coming to town. The Dukes are going to be fired up. They're a better program. They're probably the best team in the state, in my opinion. Their fans are going to travel, make that short trip down 81. It's going to be a lot of purple and gold in those stands.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to JMU winning by double digits.
Wow.
Double digits.
It could happen.
Yeah,
it could.
I think they're favored by 7 or 7.5. I saw earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wasn't being that harsh.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned the NC State line. I think it's 7.5 right now that Notre Dame is favored by, going to Virginia and JMU. I just saw it, and then it went away from me. JMU by 6 right now. This is according to Caesars. Live right now according to 6. And then Virginia Tech 3-point favorite over Purdue.
Is a 3-point favorite? Okay.
Yeah, Caesars has it as 3
okay.
right now. So we'll see. Last week.
One more thing about Purdue. They did lose last week to the Valley, Fresno State.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't quite lay a dud, but they were. I just looked at it. They were 4-point favorites, and then I think Fresno State came back on them, beat them by 4.
Last week was a good week for some of the dogs. Fresno State getting the win, Wyoming getting the win in double OT at home against Texas Tech, which, by the way, that's a hornet's nest. When will people stop scheduling road games at Wyoming? It does not end well for you. They pack that place in Laramie, and they remind you everywhere about the elevation. It's like 7,200 feet or whatever. And, Chris Long talked about it this past week on this podcast when Virginia went out there on the Greenlight podcast. They went out there in 06, Grow is old school. They went out there a couple days early. They tried to condition, and they got gassed. You can see it when they lost out there. Wyoming's tough. That's Wyoming, Boise, Fresno State, Coastal Carolina. These are not places that you want to go on the road.
Right.
Yeah, this is your future ACC. What you just listed.
It's like I don't like VCU basketball, but it's like you don't want to go. You're a big time program. You don't go to Siegel Center.
No,
Nothing good's going to happen for you there.
Yep.
Yeah. If you win, you're supposed to win. That was it's a mid major. I think VCU is probably a little bit more than mid major, but it's not a Power 5 school. But if you lose, well, you just got upset.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough place to go. I mean, like, I guess Texas Tech needed a game on their schedule, so I guess they're just like, we'll take you, Wyoming, and Wyoming was probably like, we want a home and home, and they were probably like, okay. I guess the money was worth it for Texas Tech to go up there and play them. So
could be worse. You could be Baylor, who paid big money to Texas State,
right?
Got their shit
to buy a game,
kicked in, or BC, who did the same thing. Who did BC lose to? I lost a parlay because of that. Boston College lost at home to Northern Illinois, Dave Doran's former employer, in overtime to the Huskies of Northern Illinois. Jeff Hafley, by the way, was like one of the best young coaches in the ACC a few years ago. Blooms off the rose there. He may not make it through the season.
He may not.
All right, so going to picks last week. Scotty, did you actually win a game?
I won one.
Hey, boy.
Let's get these NFL picks in here because I cannot hit a college football pick. I will say I got kind of screwed on the Utah, Florida, because, we record on Tuesdays. And as of Tuesday, Cam Rising was supposed to be playing. And then either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, they come back and say he's doubtful, he's not playing. And even so, I had the over in that game. But even with him not playing, like, Florida had so many opportunities to score, and they just kept, like, shooting themselves in the foot. So I don't feel too bad about that one. But, yeah, I guess I just got to reassess my college football research or whatever.
It sounds like you're a little salty about it. A little.
I'm salty that all that shit happened. But I still feel good, like, I'm not a total dumbass, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I get you. I'm just messing with you.
What did you have on the card last week? So you had the over in Utah, Florida. You lost that. You had TCU minus the 20.5. That didn't work out well for you. Penn State minus, I think I put 20.5. I think you actually had 20. Thanks to James Franklin being the dick and leaving the offense out there late. Running that one up. Good teams win, great teams cover. Thank you, Penn State. You had the over in South Carolina, UNC.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I think it did hit, didn't it?
No, it was like in the 40s,
It's
wasn't it?
31-17.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I'm thinking about. Another game. I had another parlay. Then you had the LSU minus 2.5, which Bayou Bengals were declawed. It was a bad week to be a Tiger between Clemson and LSU. Tony the Tiger, watch out, man, because it's bad right now.
Everybody fade my college picks for the time being.
Yeah, so you went you hit the one. So you went 1-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan. Let's see. This past week on your card, you had Utah minus a 6.5. They took care of business against Florida.
Ding.
You had Colorado at TCU. You had under 64 in that one. That was a shootout there. You had the Penn State covering 20.5.
Ding.
You had over 64.5 in South Carolina and Carolina. And then you had Florida State plus 2.5 against LSU.
The only one that called that one.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So you went
3-2.
3-2. And then I had Florida over Utah. That was probably the worst pick of the year. I had Florida money line over Utah. Oof. And by the way, without Cam Rising, I thought Cam Rising was playing. They lost to a Utah team that had I think it was a third stringer actually, and ended up starting.
Brandon Barnes.
Yeah, that first play he threw that bomb.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this over's gonna hit.
Yeah, right. Me too. I was like, all right.
I had Colorado plus the 20.5 over TCU. I mean, obviously they won outright. Penn State minus the 20.5. Penn State Carolina minus the 2.5 over South Carolina, and then LSU minus 2.5. So that didn't hit either. So I went 3-2 on the week here. So, excuse me. So we're gonna do things a little bit different this week. We've been picking the same games last couple weeks and stuff, but figured, you know what? Let's bring our own games to the table here. So, Scotty, I'll start off with you. What's on your college football card? We're going to do 3 games this
Are we doing
week.
all 3 at a time, or are we going?
Yeah, you can run through and give us your 3 here.
So my first, I hate picking Bama, but I need a win here on my college card. But yeah, Quinn Ewers, he just, he kind of struggled against Rice. Anytime you struggle against a college named after a food, it's not good. So I'm going to go Bama. Like, he's playing Bama next. Like, how good is he going to do against them? So I'm going Bama. It was -7 earlier. We can look at the lines later. But earlier it was Bama -7. So that's my first pick. Second pick is the Nebraska at Colorado game. I'm going with the over 58.5 is what it was earlier when I looked at it. Colorado will probably put up, at least 30. And with that defense they have, I think Nebraska can score some points. It's 58.5. I think it should be well into the 60s. My third pick, this should make you guys happy. I'm going Appalachian State plus 18 against UNC. Yeah, they historically they play Power 5 teams pretty tough. UNC is probably riding high off of that win against South Carolina, and App State's probably going to score points against that defense. 18 is just, I think it's too much.
Well, Tar Heel defense did look good last week though against South Carolina, but
the
Cox are not good on either side of the ball on the line.
And Spencer Rattler's a guy that he's like hot or cold. He was like that last year. So
very up and down.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's on your college card this week here?
My first game of the week, I have Colorado at covering the 2.5 point favorites that they are. Again, I don't understand this line, to be honest with you. I watched the majority of that Minnesota Nebraska game, and it was maybe the ugliest football game that we may see this year. So I just don't understand how they expect, even though Colorado doesn't have a defense, Nebraska's offense just looked terrible. Like, I just think that if Colorado gets to 24 points, 27 points, they're going to win that game 27-17, let's just say. 27-20 maybe at the most. The next game that I've picked is I think this is I don't understand why the Florida teams the Florida ACC teams are getting points at home, but I have Miami. I take the 4.5 points with them playing Texas A&M. Again, games in Coral Gables, or they're not even Coral Gables anymore, are they? How old am I? Is that
Miami Gardens?
Miami Gardens? Yeah.
The campus is in Coral Gables.
There you go.
But
There
they
you
used
go.
to play in downtown Miami.
Yes.
Now they're in Miami Gardens.
Got you. Miami Gardens, Hard Rock Stadium. I got that right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Miami at home. I'm getting 4.5. I just don't think Jimbo's gonna right this ship. I think Jimbo's kind of in the same boat as Dabo Sweeney in terms of just there's a misconnection with the players, or he's not recruiting the right players, or he's letting the wrong ones go. I don't know what's going on in College Station, but I like Miami getting 4.5 at home. I just think that Cristobal is desperate. He has to win this year to keep his job. Again, it may not be the prettiest game in the world in terms of style points, but I think Miami will get that. We'll cover that. Even if they lose by a couple of points, I don't think it'll be more than a field goal. So I think 4.5 is kind of a little bit of a gift to me. And my last pick is Kansas State covering the 15.5 over Troy. I just don't see Troy going into the Little Apple and keeping it close. I know Troy has been very good against the spread, especially last year. I want to say they were 12-2 straight up and like 11-3 against the spread. But I think that Kansas State is going to be just a better team than them this year. They beat a FCS team last week 45-0. So I know that was easy for them, but I just think that they're going to be able to beat Troy by more than 15.5. I just think I think that I know the line just seems very low. I know the Vegas odds makers have better insight than me, but I just think that Kansas State will win that game. I think they'll just put up enough points where Troy just can't keep up with them.
All right. Who did Kansas State play last week? Now I got to go and look that up. I thought I had it in the back of my head, and I couldn't remember that. I'll let you
look that up.
find that here in a second. So my picks here, this is a hell of a basketball game usually. Illinois and Kansas in Lawrence there. I'm going to go with the Fighting Illini on the road. They are a dog. They're a 3-point dog on the road at Kansas. Illinois didn't particularly look good last week, getting that 38-20. The 30-28 win over Toledo. Rockets are a feisty team. You got to catch those MAC teams will sting you. They always sting a big team each year. Illinois is not going to score a ton of points. They want to play bully ball. Brett Bielema, they want to play good defense. They want to run. They want to punch in the mouth. Luke Altmaier the transfer from Ole Miss, the quarterback, didn't look super great last week. I think he'll dial some things in. It's plus 140 money line. I'm just going to go Illinois straight up, getting the win at Kansas. Pick number 2 here. I'm on the Colorado bandwagon again. On DraftKings right now, it's at -3. So I'm going to take the Buffs at home. I just don't see how Nebraska can keep up with them. That offense, the way Colorado played last week and what I saw from Nebraska, Minnesota plays decent defense, but they don't want to get in the shootout with this Colorado team. They literally don't have the guns. Colorado's going to run it up. I got a feeling Deion's going to prove a point. Matt Rule is kind of the antithesis of Deion, the way that they're kind of going about building these two programs, these two old rivals too. They're kind of going about it the exact opposite way, and you can tell Matt Rule's trying to bring back the black shirts and the hand in the dirt, and that he's reviving the walk-on program with these corn-fed Midwest boys. And Deion's like, I'm bringing my Louis luggage,
Right?
And talent and speed will always win, and good coaching will always win. And I think Deion has all three over Matt Rule. Colorado, I think, is easily going to cover that 3 points there.
Did you have it at 3?
Yeah, I got
It's
it
at 3 now.
Yeah,
I'll take it at 3. Wherever the current line
We'll
is.
look at what we picked and look at the current lines.
Yeah, do that.
whatever you got it. We don't have to, adjust. Whatever you have it at.
If we have the same games, I want to at least play on a level field.
Right.
Even though we're picking the same
we got to
game.
put it out there for anybody that's actually listening to this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then this is kind of a off the beaten path one here a little bit, but I don't see how, especially as bad as Baylor looked last week, how they are only a 7.5 point dog at home right now to Utah. Utes are good, man, and that defense is solid. I think Utah easily covers the 7.5 right now in Baylor. I think the Bears got a lot of problems to figure out. I watched bits and pieces of that Baylor game. Don't know a ton about them, but they just did not look good. And if Utah plays the way they did against an SEC team like Florida, albeit Florida's going through a transition and they're a year or two away if Billy Napier gets to that point. I like Utah minus the 7.5 easily right now against Baylor.
Yeah, I was looking at that game. It was between that game and the Kansas State game, and I really do think that Baylor is just one of those teams that are just kind of like, I don't know, it's something going on down there. Like, again, the coach, what's his name? Avila?
Dave Aranda.
Aranda. He had a really good year his first year there. I think they won the Big 12, didn't they, his first year?
I think they got to the
championship game. I know they may have lost in a weird way too. It was that Big 12 game that was like a double overtime game, and the guy from
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think they won that game. So I think they stopped the Oklahoma State guy like at the half-yard line.
Yeah, it was like a controversial call
Right. And then like last year was a little and now like losing to Texas State the first game. I just feel like this guy's either losing his players or something's going on in that program where they're underachieving. So I definitely see Utah going in there and kind of kicking them while they're down type of thing.
Yeah, I looked at that game a little bit too, but some of these lines are like suspicious. I don't know. That's one of them.
They're enticing, yeah.
Right. It's like they want you to take it. Because the Colorado -3, I was on that. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it should be like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
When you said the other one was Oregon -6.5. I was going to take that. But I'm like, that's too, like, why is it only 6.5? Yeah. Like, they just put up 81 points against, I don't even know who it was. It doesn't matter, though.
Portland State, the Vikings.
Yeah, but it's 81 points. And then, Texas Tech lost to Wyoming.
Yeah.
A little too obvious.
Yeah. Kansas State last week beat Southeast Missouri State. SEMO.
Yeah.
The Red Hawks? Are they the Red Hawks? I know Miami of Ohio is the Red Hawks.
I don't know what they are.
Sounds right.
I thought they were like the Salukis, aren't they?
No, that's Southern Illinois.
Yeah, Red Hawks. Yep.
Yeah, they're the Red Hawks?
Yep.
Okay. Well, SEMO have a chance to bounce back this week because they host Lindenwood. That's a barn burner.
Yeah, everybody turned in for that one.
That's a barn burner of a matchup there in the Show Me State. You show me people that got tickets to that game, and I'll show you people that got no life. Yeah, Lindenwood and SEMO.
Where is that located? Anybody know?
Where is Southeast Missouri State located?
Linwood, did you say that?
Lindenwood.
Where Lindenwood?
Yeah, they're in Missouri. They're rather new to Division I.
Okay. That sounds like the Midwest or something.
I think they got a decent women's volleyball team, if I remember correctly.
Why do you know that?
I have no life.
That's so weird.
I have no life. Like, literally, I just watch sports and gamble and lose money. How my wife hasn't divorced me, I don't know. I'll give her time.
I don't know either.
All right, so NFL starting up on Thursday. Arrowhead Stadium, of course, the marquee matchup here. We got 3 games here, but I mean, this is a game we all need to pick on this one here.
Pick that one. Yep.
Of course, the news came out today. Travis Kelce was the hyperextension of his knee.
Yeah, the 1 year I get him in our fantasy league, and he gets hurt before week 1.
We call that the Ramsey ramifications.
I'm telling you, you'll see in our league, this is Bethio's first year in that one. I just have no luck. All my guys will get hurt. Happens every year.
Well,
you should have told me that before my last draft.
Yeah. Well,
I had on Sunday.
Oh, did you pick some guys on my team?
I may have. I definitely was looking at Kelce, but somebody else took him before me.
So his status is up in the air for Thursday. Will he be able to play? Will he not be able to play? How effective will he be if he can play? Luckily, I saw Adam Schefter tweet that no damage to the ACL, but there is a hyperextension of the knee. Chiefs at home, of course, defending Super Bowl champions, taking on a team that America loves right now, kind of de facto America's team, the Detroit Lions. Everyone's on the Lions to be good this year. They're making it to the playoffs. I see a lot of people and a lot of books are taking money on the Lions to win the NFC North. Ryan, I'll start with you. You were there when the Chiefs were in the AFL, and now they're hosting the Lions to kick off the NFL season. What's your prognostication?
I think this game, I don't know, the line just seems very sketchy. Like, I don't know. If Kelce is not, if they don't know if he's going to play or not, I feel like touching that line is a little crazy to me, because that could be a 3 or 4 point swing with Kelce not being there, to be honest with you. I think if Kelce was healthy, KC would be favored by more than a touchdown, going into the game. Now they're only favored by 5. Maybe this is the time to jump in and take the 5, because maybe Kelce guts it out and plays. Who knows? But I'm going to go – I still think this game is going to be very high scoring. I don't know why, but I just feel like those first games of the year, those Thursday night games are usually high scoring. I know because I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched them play Tampa Bay 2 years in a row. Well, at least last year, or a couple of years ago, that game was like 29-31. And I want to say last year's game was pretty high scoring as well. I can't remember who were the players. Was it Dallas, Tampa Bay last year? First game of the year?
Don't they usually start with the
champion?
Did Tampa Bay, did they win 2 years ago? Tampa Bay? Yeah, they did,
What
right?
was the game where Dallas had missed the field goals? What was that?
That was in the playoffs.
That was in the playoffs.
Well, no,
yeah.
I thought that was a.
But
I don't know.
They played an opening night
But
game.
I like that you brought that up.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit of a stick in the side, a jab in the side. But anyway, usually those games are high scoring. Those first week Thursday night games, they just are. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the over on the 53-point line. I think the game could be a 30-27 type game.
We're gonna give you over 52.5. You can get it on a few books now.
Nice. I'll take that. But yeah.
I hate to tail the old man here, but that's exactly where I'm going at on that one too. I think the Lions can score a lot of points. I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's going to add a great element to that offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff has looked good at times last year. They can throw the ball around. Kansas City is great. We know what they can do offensively, even without Travis Kelce in that lineup. I mean, pick your poison with them. Okay, he's a big part of that offense, but they have so many other ways that they can hurt you. And I think Sky Moore is going to be a big part of that offense this year. Pacheco, McKinnon. I mean, they're so versatile. But I got questions about their defense, and especially without Chris Jones in that lineup. How much pressure they're going to be able to get on the quarterback. Yeah, I like the over in this one. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, really entertaining Thursday night game.
Yep, you guys basically said everything I was about to say.
So someone get the graphic out.
Hey, our unanimous pick last week hit Penn State. True. So we're 1-1. But yeah, basically everything you guys said. The line is dropping because of Kelce, and then as far as Chris Jones is not going to be there. He's a huge part of that defense. He is their defense basically. I think it's going to drop too much, and it's 52.5. I mean, that's just too low. I think it was on Action Network somewhere, an article I read where Mahomes in openers is 5-0 to the over, and he goes over by an average of like 11 points. So, yeah, give me the over 52.5. That should be points on both sides. That should be pretty easy.
All right, so we all got the over there in Kansas City and Detroit at Arrowhead Stadium. Ryan, I'll let you go. What's next on your card? You can give us your next two here.
My first one is going to be Jacksonville covering the 5 on Indy. I just don't see Anthony Richardson doing a lot in this game. Just because it's his first game, his run game's a little suspect. He hasn't been the most accurate quarterback in the world in the preseason. He's made some very big splash plays, but I think Jacksonville is going to be ready to roll. I think with Calvin Ridley out there, he's going to have something to prove. This is a division game, so they definitely, Jacksonville definitely wants to win this game. They don't want to drop, a game to more than likely. They may not be the last place team, but more than likely they'll be the last place team. So I think they're going to come out guns are firing. I think Doug Peterson has his team in a good mindset. They're playing well, even though they lost to Kansas City in the playoffs last year. That was a competitive game. I like Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville beating the Colts. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied here. I like Jacksonville beating Indianapolis by more than 5. Colts are getting 5 at home.
Well, in your day, the Colts were in Baltimore, so I can see where you get confused.
I would Baltimore ran across my head for like a half second there for whatever reason.
Were you chasing after those Mayflower trucks?
Yeah, I was actually, me and the band.
The band that wouldn't die.
Yeah, the band that wouldn't die, exactly. I was right behind them playing Please Don't Go.
Is that why you became a Cowboys fan? Were you so crestfallen you chose a star?
Yeah, then So whenever that was 83 when they moved.
83, yeah.
Yeah, so when they moved. So yeah, that was about when the transition happened, I guess.
Transition.
Stop.
Damn it. My next game is going to be I'm kind of flipping back and forth on this one. I feel like this is a trap game, but I'm going to pick it anyway. I think Philly. Again, I'm taking these road teams and win these games, but I'm taking Philly to cover the 4 against New England. I know Tom Brady's coming back and everybody's going to be hyped up and this, that, and the other, but I just feel like Philly's going to poleaxe them. I just think they have something to prove. Everybody's pretty much back on that team. I just don't see New England's offense getting dramatically better just because Bill O'Brien's calling plays. They don't have any playmakers. They have Juju. Ramondre Stevenson's okay, but if you're one dimensional, then Philly's going to tear you apart. And then New England's defense is good, but I just think they're going to the offense of New England just going to put too much pressure on the defense to make stops. I think the only way that New England wins that game is if Philly makes mistakes. I really do think Philly wins this game. I don't know, 24-17, 27-17. I just see like Jalen Hurts just, doing his typical 250 yards, throwing, 95 yards on the ground. Their committee of running backs getting 100 yards between the 3 of them, and A.J. Brown hitting some long bomb or Devontae Smith hitting a long bomb, and that's the game.
Ryan, you mentioned Juju. One thing, I don't know if you guys saw this. Albert Breer was the NFL Network still, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. He said the other day that Juju Smith-Schuster's knee is, quote, a mess, and that it could explode at any point.
Explode meaning like collapse or just blow out?
Yeah, so I was listening to Pardon My Take this morning. Big Cat was talking about that. Like, does that mean like he was talking with Field Yates of ESPN? And like, does that explode mean like his knee could like literally explode like a bomb,
right,
like 24, or is it like going to go out like he's going to tear or something? Like that's so vague but so bad sounding,
Yeah,
like
he's got to mean just tear. Like,
yeah,
who says that?
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. We have to watch the status of his knee, but you said Juju, and it made me think about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he was hurt, so that even makes me more confident in my pick. Because if they have nobody to throw to, it's over.
Scotty, what's next on your dance card?
So me and Ryan almost have the same picks here. I'm also going Jacksonville -5. Yeah, just the Colts are just not good. Anthony Richardson's first game. No Jonathan Taylor. No weapons really. I mean, I like Pittman, but you can't just throw him the ball 50 times a game, and that's not going to work. It does seem a little trappish, but I'm going to take it anyways. Jacksonville is they're just so much better, and Indy struggles with them anyways, like even when Indy's good. So, yeah, Jacksonville -5 for sure. And I was thinking about the Eagles also, but I'm going to go Packers money line.
Ooh.
I don't really understand why. I mean, they're only 1.5 point underdogs, but I think they should be favored. I know everybody's expecting the Bears to be better, and Fields will be better, but it's like DJ Moore got that screen pass in the first preseason game and took it to the house, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, sleeper team, and they're just not there yet. I actually think Jordan Love will be decent, and he's going to do enough to go into Soldier Field and get a W.
Nice. Okay. Scotty, I'm going to curse your team here. So I am going to start off with the what are they? The Commanders, the Commandos, Comanches, Communist. What are they?
Call them what you want.
Okay. The C words, the Washington C words. And they're at home right now, giving 7 to the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think that we've seen a franchise in the NFL try to lose as much and as blatantly as the Cardinals are doing right now. They are fully all in tank mode for Caleb Williams. Now, look, these guys are professionals. No matter what the front office does, the guys that go out in the field are going to give 110%. And I think if you're who's the guy, Gannon, the head coach, first-year head coach from Philadelphia?
Yep.
If you're talking to that team, I think you tell them, hey, everyone's against you. Even your own front office is against you right now. That being said, you're not going to start Clayton Tune and win NFL games. Take Washington -7. Obviously, Chase Young's deemed up again as always, but Sam Howell looked good in preseason. I think there's a lot of positive momentum. I think they'll actually have fans in the stands for once at this game.
Oh yeah, it's sold out.
Yeah, it's the perfect it's the perfect opener for Washington if you want to say, hey, look, we're making progress. We want to change the culture. We're going to do things the right way. Allegedly, they've done all these upgrades to FedEx Field, so maybe you won't have raw sewage dump on you during the game.
Be an improvement.
Being improvement. The Cardinals might smell like raw sewage and play like raw sewage as the season goes on. But yeah, take Washington minus a 7. That's gonna be my stone cold lock of the week. You can go ahead and put the mortgage payment on that one.
Don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that prediction.
I was looking at it, but first week, I have no idea what a Clayton tune is, so
he played at Houston.
I don't know how to cap that. And if they start Dobbs, I like Dobbs. I think he could do enough to keep it close. So I was just staying away from that.
He hung in that game. I mean, that Tennessee game. I mean, he wasn't pretty in that Tennessee game at the end of the year last year for the division, but he kept him in there.
Wait,
right?
Is Dobbs starting over Tune? And didn't they literally just sign Dobbs off the street?
It sounds like they're saying Tune, but it also sounds like they're keeping things close to the vest there. So I don't know.
The head coach Gannon said that he wasn't going to announce.
Right.
What in the head coach of Indiana, I think last week, was playing coy before their game against Ohio State. He wasn't going to name who their kicker was. Like that fucking mattered.
That's funny actually.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go ahead and put the mortgage payment. Put the baby's college fund on Washington minus 7. Right now, you can go ahead and give me the little Grand Theft Auto like death thing where it fades to black and white and dead or whatever. If I'm wrong about this, but go ahead and cash out your child's Virginia College savings plan and put that on the Commanders.
If they lose, you can't bet on them ever again.
It's good.
Not on this podcast.
It's like Survivor Pool. This is my 1 week where I actually feel confident in taking the Washington Communists. So yeah, I want to go with them minus 7.
I'm confident we'll win.
Your kids will be going to Bright Point Community if you put your money down on this bet. Just a warning, just a disclaimer from Let's Not Do This podcast.
Yeah, can they get a graphic person? Bright Point. It's the worst logo. All right.
What's their nickname? Are they the Red Hawks too? I think they're the Red Hawks.
Bright Point.
Yeah, I think that's
I
their
didn't know
nickname.
they had teams and stuff.
I didn't know either.
Well,
or a nickname.
It makes you. It's like an elementary school. Like, we're the Park Street Elementary Panthers. It's like, what fucking team do you have? Your community college. This ain't Kansas. This ain't no JUCO. This is 13th grade.
Yeah. The Trailblazer.
They're the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Is Jay Sarge the Red Hawks? Jay Sergeant Reynolds.
This is the last community college I'm looking at.
Okay. As for all of our listeners across the country, these are very bad community colleges in our area. Those words are from Leon all over.
This is not what I signed up for.
All
they are the Red Hawks.
Okay, there we go.
Wait. Jay Sarge, is that Reynolds?
Yeah.
Jay Sarge Reynolds.
Yeah. Sarge Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah, I think they just go by Reynolds now, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
I
don't know who Jay Sarge was. He might have been racist. I mean, maybe they changed the name. Who knows?
No. The guy's name was Jay Sarge Reynolds. I think he was like Lieutenant Governor of Richmond or Virginia at some point.
Did he make Reynolds rap?
Yeah, that's
not the R.J. Reynolds fan.
Yeah, that's where he gets his. He could be maybe kin to him.
Was he like like Billy Carter, like Jimmy Carter's dumb brother? Because the Reynolds family is like why Wake Forest moved like across the state in like the middle of the 50s or whatever from North Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe this was him. Maybe he was the Billy Carter.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he was definitely. I want to say he definitely was in office in Virginia.
Yes,
at some point.
He was a Democratic politician, served in the House and Senate of the Virginia General Assembly.
Is he related to
the 30th
to the Reynolds
Lieutenant
family?
Governor? The what?
Is he related to the Reynolds family, like R.J. Reynolds, like aluminum foil and stuff like that?
Oh my God, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah. Didn't Bill Clinton have like a dumb brother too? That's a life. I want to be like a dumb presidential brother.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Roger? I think his name
Are you still coming to me for this?
There's a lot of jokes.
I'm still looking up.
Roger.
No, don't worry
the
about
Reynolds aluminum foil family.
Roger Clinton.
Google's even like, what the fuck?
Roger Clinton.
Yeah, Roger Clinton.
Roger Clinton?
Is
his brother?
Yeah, this is his brother. This is
Roger Clinton sounds like someone that fought for like the British in like in the Revolutionary War. And then
that's some New Zealand shit.
Oh, okay.
We'll ask Lance about it.
Yeah, freaking Kiwis. All right. So in retrospect, put the child's Virginia 529 college savings plan on Commandos minus 7.
Yeah, I hate you.
Have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Start doing, Uber Eats or something.
Well, maybe they'll go to Bright Point and they'll learn to be a truck driver or air conditioner repair or whatever the fuck you do at community college.
Go Trailblazers.
Exactly.
Also, I'm going to go. This is my upset special of the week here. I am going to go with the Miami Dolphins on the road, money line plus 140 over the Los Angeles Superchargers. Miami just has too much speed, like all around, in my opinion. How do you guard them? And I don't like the Chargers in close late game situations. I think this game could be a lot of points, could be a shootout. Maybe you like the over on this one. What's the over coming in right now? The over is over 51. I think that could possibly hit. Maybe if you want to combo it and go, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and combo it, Scotty. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go Miami money line plus the over.
This man can't even not do parlays on podcast picks. Like, you're just like setting yourself up for failure.
I'm going Miami money line plus the over against the Chargers. There's going to be a lot of points. And mark my words, the Chargers will charger. We saw Clemson do some Clemsoning last night, vintage old school. The Chargers are going to charger in close games. They're going to do something to soak it away late, a late fumble, special teams play, a Herbert interception, something that screwed up late. I like Miami money line on the road and the over. Go ahead and take that one to the bank. That's your big O Stone Cold lock of the week.
You can't have two locks.
Yeah, I'm pretty dumb there. That's your big O upset special there.
Okay. I don't hate either pick, but there's no reason to parlay them. We're just making single picks here.
Yeah, well, you know what? I felt
Go bet that shit on your own terms.
I felt sexual. I felt good. That old lady got me steamed up there earlier.
Oh, Lord.
The Chargers were in Los Angeles when she was first watching football. Then they went to San Diego, then back to LA again.
Lady at JJ Grill tonight, on Tuesday, we're September the 5th. If you're hearing this podcast, please contact us. at Leon at Let's Do This. Let's not do this podcast, or Scotty at Let's Not Do This podcast, or you don't know me, so just email those two.
Eventually,
we'll get you on the show.
Yeah, we're gonna get an info at Let's Not Do This podcast at some point.
Notice that he left his email out partially because he doesn't know how to use email.
Yeah.
How do you where do you put the stamp?
I could barely get our email address correct. So
that might be the first money we get coming in. We just got to keep going up to JJ's.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I'll be your Huckleberry lady.
There you go.
All right, so transitioning away from sports, hey, that's the second transition reference during the podcast here.
Hey.
Worst flight ever. Now, Scotty, I know that you have not been on the Friendly Skies yet.
Yeah.
And our suspended friend here has not flown either. Ryan, you flew more recently than me. You flew last year. You went to the Cowboys game, right?
Yeah, I went out to Dallas, went out to Arlington. Yep.
Did you fly first class?
No, I've never flown first class.
Oh, the big O only flies the Friendly Skies first class.
Yes, he's a man of culture.
Did you?
As he tells us.
The more we, my cash.
The more we do this podcast, the more I don't want to fly. And this story is only gonna ensure that even more.
Did you fly American or Delta? What airline did you fly?
Going out, it was weird because we were going Delta all the way, but then on the way back there was a flight delay where it was a weather delay in Dallas where they suspended flights for like about 2 hours. So we literally was gonna miss our connection flight in Atlanta on the way back. So we ended up taking an American flight from Dallas to Richmond nonstop. But the worst part about it was that we had to wait in Dallas Fort Worth International Airport for about, I think our flight was to take off at 11. We didn't leave till like 7:38 that night.
Yeah, nobody wants to be in Dallas that long.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in Dallas at the airport that long. We sat there, me and my lady friend Sarah, we sat there and basically just drank basically the whole 8 hours. It was nothing else to do.
Well, I'm glad that you drank and you managed to control yourself, unlike this person here that was on the Delta flight from Atlanta to Barcelona. Is that how people say Barcelona? Is that like the culture? What is it? Like
I want to know how this lady was saying it.
Yeah.
Wait, do we know the gender of this person?
I do not know the gender
I don't think they said,
of this person. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is a dude because this is some gross shit. So it's got to be a dude. This person who, I'm just going to go ahead and call this person Chris, was on the flight from Atlanta to Barcelona. And apparently the flight had to be diverted and turned around because they had some issues. And, well, I'll let air traffic control tell you what happened. Apparently that doesn't want to work for me right now. Let's re-rack, as they say in radio.
Let's try to do this.
Try that one again here.
Let's try to do this.
Let's might do this.
We possibly could do this.
Okay, well, I guess it doesn't want. You know what? It would help if I actually put the volume up on my phone. Leon Oliver,
yeah, I can't hear the drops anyway. So
technical whiz here. Here we go.
Put the.
Ugh.
Wait a minute, hold on. First, have you had my headphones down the whole time?
No, I haven't.
Because
had
that's coming through my headphones.
Well, maybe
What
they
the fuck's going on?
miraculously awakened themselves like Notre Dame, wake up the echoes.
Yeah.
This person woke up some echoes, and they woke up some people that were sleeping. And could you imagine?
No.
I don't know how far of a flight this is, how long this is in terms of hours from Atlanta to Barcelona. But could you imagine, like, you just settled in, you're watching, I don't know, let's say For the Love of the Game on the, flight little screen there in front of you. You got your pillow, you got your peanuts, maybe. Maybe it was a peanut-free flight, okay? So maybe you got some Laffy Taffy, let's say, for an old person like Ryan. And you're settled in. And then all of a sudden, you got to smell what has to be the most heinous smell ever. And Scotty, you saw the video. I didn't see the video until you showed me.
Yeah, like when we were at the bar, I think Barstool or somebody put the video out, and it's just all down the aisle. It's disgusting. I don't. Yeah,
it's a river of shit.
11-hour flight. That's what I got on the old Google machine. 11
yeah, but
hours,
how
15
can you
minutes.
not make it to the bathroom?
Yeah, and like, was there no bathroom? Like, was it like a long stream of poo, or was it just like?
It was.
Different
spots.
Oh, different spots.
And
Well, okay.
It wasn't like drops. It was like splatters.
It was an explosion. It looked like.
Wow.
It looked like someone. You ever had that? This is gonna offend some people.
God, I was gonna say, where are you going with this?
You ever had that Mexican soda, the Jarritos, I think it's called, and they have a Tajin flavor. One of my best friends gave me one of these before, as when we were at the taqueria, and I remarked to him that the color of this soda resembled diarrhea. That's what it looked like that was coming down the aisle. It looked like what I'm sure what Burning Man was this past week, when all the toilets clogged and there were no toilets, and then like a half-inch of rain was like a biblical flood there. That's what this looked like. It was a sea of brown sadness just all over this plane. I mean, you gotta throw the plane away at this point, right? And they said they cleaned it. You gotta throw it away.
Hell no.
Like, you gotta scrap it.
Yeah.
Or at least,
yeah.
on is that carpet in the middle?
Yeah.
You gotta at least take that out. Yeah.
I think you gotta do more than that, man.
Look, you gotta sell this to like Ugandan Airlines or something like this. It's like, who's ever buying this out?
That's a
that might be
that's a plane
racist.
that like AirTran. Are they still in business? But that's the plane that AirTran would buy. Literally, AirTran would be on. I took a flight from Atlanta, from Newport News of all airports, Patrick Henry Field in Virginia.
Did you get shot at?
I probably did and probably didn't notice it. There was so many gunshots going on out there. Anyway, like literally, the website says, yeah, our planes are basically planes that, American, Delta, United don't want to use anymore, and we buy them. And I'm just kind of like, what? I didn't know. Like, I really didn't understand that till I got there and like was like, wow, look at this plane. It looks old as hell, and like some of the wing parts were like rusted.
Why would they tell you that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to be upfront with you. Like, yeah, this plane looks like this because it's 20 years old and
they're like, be on alert.
Right. Yeah. Like, get ready to get the oxygen.
Ready to die.
Right. Yeah. But poor Ryan of whatever. I was like 22, 23, trying to visit a friend. I was like, sure, I'll take this $100 round trip ticket from Atlanta, from Newport News to Atlanta and back. So
They should have sold this shit plane to Spirit Airlines. They're
I knew
doing
you were gonna say that.
round trip for like $36 or whatever, to Oakland or whatever. You go ahead and sell that. Now apparently this plane was cleaned, and apparently flight records have shown that this plane was back in rotation and has since been used for another flight. Delta officials confirmed that there was a quote medical issue on the plane and it had to be redirected to Atlanta to be cleaned, according to Insider.
So if you have digestive problems that bad where you can't make it to the bathroom, like what are you doing flying overseas to another country?
Maybe they had that. Maybe they were okay, and maybe they ate something in the airport. Maybe they had airport sushi.
I don't know. But like when you get to Barcelona, like, you're gonna be on a toilet the whole time. You're gonna be eating foreign food. Like, I don't know.
I don't think Spanish toilets can like uphold American diarrhea. I don't think like fat Americans coming over here, with diarrhea. I don't think Spain's prepared for that. You may start an international incident. I'm glad that they were returning to Atlanta. We could be at war with the Spanish right now over this.
And what do you say to your, like, I don't know, if you're like meeting somebody in, like maybe it's a business guy. Guy's on a plane on a business flight going from Atlanta to Barcelona, and the guy meeting in Barcelona is like, "Where are you, man?" Well, back in Atlanta. Why are you back in Atlanta? Well, this dude fucking had explosive diarrhea and shit the fucking plane up, so I'm here.
Ryan,
I'll get there tomorrow, I guess.
Ryan, have you ever been to the bathroom on a plane?
Absolutely. You know me.
You'll go anywhere, won't you?
If Mother Nature says, Ryan, you need to take a poop, if there's a facility, Ryan will make use of it. Good looking, bad looking, whatever it's stated to.
I'm going to go ahead and knock on this table here for good luck, but I have never and I hopefully never will use the facilities on the airplane, not even take a whiz. I have a system. I know how long I can go. So I always fly out first thing in the morning, and I will dehydrate myself before I fly. I won't drink anything for 8 o'clock on that morning too. So I get on the plane. Now I do 5 first class. So I will have my one drink when I immediately get on the plane there. You get your free beverage, so I'll have that one. Then I'll leave it alone until I get maybe about halfway or so to our destination. Then I will kick in and just start pounding. And then, first class is all included anyway, but even more so than like Delta Comfort, they're going to come and replenish you more, So I'm going to knock out 9 or 10 beers, whatever it is. And then I know, especially like if I'm going somewhere I'm familiar with, like Denver, I'm like O.J. Simpson running through the airport to get to that restroom because I know where it is from the Delta terminal, and we're good, So I have a foolproof system of flying, and I will not use an airplane bathroom. So this person, could you imagine the shame too of like you're sitting there and like you've shat.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yellow card.
I got a yellow card that O.J. Simpson. You're not going to just like slip that by and be like.
You said that more than one time.
I know. That's his go-to in the airports running is like O.J. Simpson. I thought there's other, commercials about that. I think maybe Tom Brady did something similar to that.
I don't think you should ever say I'm like O.J. Simpson at anything.
Okay, right, yeah.
Well, the McAllister family
there you go.
running through the airport.
Much better.
Very more wholesome, more family.
Yeah, less murders.
This was just
allegedly.
We all knew that was just practice for O.J. getting away.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's my foolproof system. But can you imagine being this person? Number one, you got to sit there in that. Okay. And then imagine being the person's seatmate. And imagine if they're flying coach. Because if you shit yourself in the plane, you're probably flying coach. I'm just going to say it. And you're sitting 3 wide. Imagine that person's middle seat. They're the middle seat person.
And that guy did not. That guy shit on that seat. It wasn't like he got up and he started shitting on himself. I bet you that seat has shit on it, and he got up, and there may be shit on that guy that he had to cross, whether it's 1 or 2 of them, depending on where he was sitting. I'm guarantee you, man. I just can't see him being like, oh shit, I gotta go, and like he's able to get out that seat fast enough.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna excuse me, and it's already flowing.
We have a podcast title. It's already flowing. Yeah, but can you imagine? It's like it's like a fountain of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the Bellagio in Vegas, the fountains full. That's what I imagine what this explosive diarrhea was like, as this guy was going through whatever he was going through. You know, Godspeed to this person here. You can never fly again if you do this person. You need to be put on the TSA list, right?
I wouldn't fly Delta because they probably got him on like a list. Yeah.
There's got to be a no-fly list for this, right? If you shoot up a plane so bad that it has to be diverted from an international flight, and apparently this person must have had shorts or something on for it to escape.
It had to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Even more reasons it's going to be all over the seat and shit.
Yeah.
And people's nice shoes and slacks if they're wearing them on board.
When's the last time that you flew? Who's wearing nice shoes and slacks? You're lucky now if people wear pajamas.
You never know, man. It's Barcelona. I mean, these people got to have a little bit of money, I'm thinking.
That's true. Well, it is Delta, too. So it's a higher caliber than when we put Scotty on his first Spirit flight coming up here soon. We're going to get Scotty a Spirit flight to East St. Louis.
Oof.
Hey, man, as long as there ain't no diarrhea, I mean, I'm good. As long as, if I don't have to step in some shit getting off the plane, I'm good.
You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google, anywhere you can find podcasts, on social media, X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Let's Not Do This podcast.
And subscribe to the YouTube.
Hit that damn subscribe button, please. We poor. We want money. Later.